look inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can't survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find the way. And a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you.
Through the darkness, I can see your light, and you will always shine, and I can feel your heart in mine. Your face I've memorized, I idolize just you. I look up to everything you are. And after all is said and done, you're still you. After all, you're still you. You walk past me, time changes everything. One truth always stays the same. You're still you. After all, you're still you. I look up to everything you are. In my eyes you do no wrong, and I believe in you, although you never asked me to. I will remember you and what life put you through. You're still you. After all, you're still you.
Happy anniversary, Ruth and Wally. Congratulations. The thing I remember, well, what I really miss the most is when we always had Christmas at your house. I miss that so much. It seemed like when all the kids started getting married and having grandkids, that all kind of fizzled, but thank heavens for the family reunions we have. And I also remember Ruth was always there when somebody was sick and in the hospital. She was just so dedicated, and so you could depend on her so much. And we enjoyed Wally's quartet singing so much. I don't know why you had to move away.
Well, what I remember is Ruth and Wally and the kids showing up on Christmas Eve with about 2 tons of Christmas presents. And Wally would carry them in the house for hours. And usually there wasn't any room for people in the living room when they got done with the presents. But I too appreciate all the family work that Ruth has done and Wally's done for this family. Want to wish you a very happy 50th wedding anniversary, because you two richly deserve all the blessings this event has brought. Happy anniversary.
Hi. We think this is recording,
But we're not sure.
so we're going to do this, talk a while, and then hopefully it worked. Congratulations, 50 years. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about how much parental guidance there was around our place, because as I think about your wedding, I think about a picture that's got me there in high-top black tennis shoes, Boston Celtic type. That has never made a lot of sense to me. And the other thing I remember back of those days is breaking a snow ski one Christmas day. I think Wally was on assignment somewhere else, and Ruth gave him a new set of skis, and I went out and broke them. Can you imagine? Tall pile of snow, and so I don't know about the parental guidance that we had in those days. Where am I going with this?
Just say congratulations and best wishes. We hope you have a fun celebration of 50 years of being married together.
And we surely do wish that we were there, but it's just not going to work out for us. We're there in spirit, wishing you the best, and wish we could be there to join in a toast to 50 years. Congratulations.
Congratulations on your 50th wedding anniversary. Do you know if this means that you've had 18,250 sunrise and sunsets? How special. I want to thank you for the memories that we've had. I remember when you guys were dating and Wally would come out to our house at mealtime, which I think that must have been a whole interesting thing for Wally to come to our house with all the kids at this long table. But he would sit at the end by the heater that was in the kitchen, and he had this beautiful suede coat, and Les and I would take a turn on his knee and sit and rub his sleeves of his coat, and I still can remember that. I also remember your wedding day. It was a bittersweet day. I remember I was 9 years old, and it was very sad for me to have Ruth leave. But I remember that great car that you guys drove off in, and then for you to come back with Luann, and I got to hold her in our old house. That was before our house burned down. And then as you came back at Christmas time, brought those great presents, and the girls, Luann, Kay, and Chris, and we would line up behind. They would line up behind Grandpa, and the younger three in our family would line up behind Dad, and we'd make this line that would go in and find out what Santa had brought us. Until my next brother, Ed, thought I was too old to be getting presents from Santa Claus, and he said he would put a coal in my stocking that next morning, and that was my last Christmas with Santa. We loved it when you lived in Fremont, and we got to have Christmases with you when Mom and Dad couldn't do it anymore. And then for all the help you were when Robin was a little one. In this day of falling in and out of love and marriages, you guys have been a great role model for us all. It's great to have all the wonderful memories, and may you have many more sunrise and sunsets. We love you guys. Happy anniversary.
Congratulate Ruth and Wally on their 50 years with a baseball game going on, because it was 50 years ago on a hot July 5th that the Tacoma Legion was playing in Oakland, Nebraska. And Coach Graff ran out of pitchers in about the 5th inning, and he asked me to take off my catching equipment, and I went to the mound, and as I remember, we tied the score by the end of regulation, and then it went on to inning 8, 9, 10, 11, and we finally pushed a run over in the 11th, won the game, and then we kind of remembered that there was a wedding going on, and we better hustle because we were late. So, by the way, I never did go back to catching after that. I went the next 11 years on the mound, so that was really a big significant day for me, as well as for you two. So we got back to Tacoma, and as I remember, I rushed to the Harvey Lurch residence to change clothes and make it to the wedding. And I guess I had an 11-year run on the mound after that, and you had a 50-year run, so you beat me on that, and that's real good. I want to bring you much love from my extended family, and let's start working on the next 10 years. And just remember this, watch those high hard ones on the inside, chin music we call it in the baseball jargon, because they might be setting you up for that nasty curveball on the outside corner at the knees. Congratulations once again, and oh, by the way, we spent all kinds of good times at your household, and hope that continues in the future, whether it be Kearney or Lincoln or Fremont or Tulsa. Fremont especially, it seemed like we were there for numerous Easters, Thanksgivings, and Christmases, and They were all great times, and let's keep it going. Now, we'll see you after the game. Back to Jack Rempe.
Our purpose here is to talk about Ruth and Wally's wedding anniversary, so it would seem appropriate that we go back to the beginning. I'd like to pause a minute. How many can remember what is probably the first important date in this occasion? I'll pause just for a second. Who can tell me the first important date? Anyone? My answer to that would be March 1, 1947. That's the date that Mom and Dad moved our family to the family farm out on by the river where Cliff and Marilyn currently live. I enrolled that spring as a sophomore in the high school in Decatur. Wally soon became one of my best friends. We were in music, band, vocal, and athletics together, and we became social friends. And Wally and I, along with John and Roger, became weekend and friends in the summer. I can remember many times scooping the loop with the four of us. I guess we were looking for girls. We didn't have much luck. In fact, Wally, as I recall, we didn't have any luck. We both eventually graduated from high school. We both went off to college, and the first thing I noticed, Wally used to come to the farm. I thought he was coming out to visit me. But he continued going out there when he'd get home and when I wouldn't be there. And then I thought it was to visit my parents. But eventually it sunk in that he was out there to see Ruth. One thing led to another, and in 1953 they were married. My next recollection, as far as they're concerned, would be in the spring of 1955. On my way back from Korea, I was stationed at Fort Carson, and Wally was stationed there. One of the things that I remember, on a few occasions, I got to babysit with Luann. She was a very young girl, and Ruth and Wally would have some occasion in the evening, and I would stay with her. It became obvious to me quickly, one of the traits that makes a woman successful is to have a mind of their own, and it was very obvious early on that Luann had a mind of her own. If you don't believe that, you should try to put her to bed as a 2-year-old when she didn't want to get ready, she didn't want to go to bed, and after she got there, she did not want to be there. Other things I remember, these are in no particular order. Wally was a good athlete in high school. But what some of his grandchildren may not know, and I'd like to point out now, at the swimming pool, he championed a dive called the Shazam dive. It was off the 3-meter board, and he was pretty picturesque as he would go into the water. And I think if his grandchildren would ask him tonight or tomorrow, have him get on his swimming suit and go out to the swimming pool we have here and let him show you the Shazam dive that he championed in high school. He was known far and wide, at least a little ways.
He even did that after we were married, showing off a few times.
Other things then we began to remember, or we remember as our families began to grow, we would spend summers, we spent some at GURPS in Okoboji.
Our children had great times together. We have fond memories of baking cookies and bars, and making lots of food, taking it to have a family vacation, our family vacations together.
We spent one summer at a place out in the Black Hills in western Nebraska. And another time, I'm vague as to where it was, but we must have been in Minnesota. Robbie thinks that where we were. Anyway, she has a story that she and Ruth will remember, I'm sure.
Well, we were all clean and ready for the evening and the fellows were out in the lake skiing, and they decided to let off one ski so they could slalom. Ruth and I were going to go out to pick up the other ski. She put one foot in the boat and the other one was on the dock, and needless to say, she fell into the water. And I laughed myself silly. We just had such a good time, but we both ended up wet, and I'll not tell you how I got wet.
Another recollection we both have about Wally that some of you can probably relate to. Wally was an ace packer of the station wagon that they used to use when they get ready to go on trips. He could pack more stuff into a station wagon than you'd believe. We have a son-in-law now, Karen's husband Ed. He's good at the same thing, but Wally was the best organizer of stuff you've ever seen, and he's not lost that quality. If you don't believe that he can't pack, you should see his garage. Right, Wally? And then in later years, as they become more and more spread out, some of our remembrances involve trips on our way back from Phoenix or Las Vegas, stopping in Tulsa for a pleasant night over, and in turn they've been able to come to our place a couple of times in Indiana on their way to see Luann or Kay out on the East Coast, so we've enjoyed those times together also.
And the Christmases. Many Christmases we spent at your home. The popcorn balls in the red basket, and all of the good food to eat and the good times. And Marty brought up something today, which we'll let him tell you about, as he's behind us playing. Okay, Marty, did you?
Yeah, we were just talking about all of the wonderful Thanksgiving and Christmases we spent at the Birch House, and I think it was in Fremont. And one Christmas that I really remember there is the Christmas all the grandkids got a chance to act out the Christmas story before Grandma Morrow died. And that's something that's always stuck in my mind. And usually by the late afternoon of those days, we'd end up in the girls' rooms upstairs listening to Elton John records. So Kay and Luann, Chris, I still play those songs.
Okay, now the boys and Marty and Fran and I have something. We just want you to have a wonderful, many more years together.
One thing I'd like to do before we end this, we would like to thank Ruth for her official family contributions of last year. Someone has to hold a group together when we need to do things that have to be done, and she's been great about taking care of business, and we all appreciate that, I'm sure. So now we're ready,
Thank
boys.
you.
Okay?
Okay, the Jackson and Tyler and Andrew.
Ready? Here we go.
Happy anniversary to you.
Happy anniversary.
Hi, Wally and Ruth. Happy anniversary. This is Jan. I just want you to know it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here at your 50th wedding anniversary party in Branson. And I love you both, and I hope that you have many, 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 many more.
I'm Robin Wirtz. I'm Wally's big brother. No, I mean I'm his older brother. I was looking down here in Branson and over at IMAX, and I noticed they had a Remember When theater over there. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, well, I should say